Okay, guys, let's get real for a second. Like, really real. Ignore the mess. Welcome to the bedroom. Welcome to my channel. I'm Alexi. Let's get into it. On Friday, I was literally laid off. So there's that. So if you've been laid off or you're in this like similarly weird, kind of terrifying, but also freeing moment where you realize like, wait, I don't want the life that I've been building anymore, then hi, this video is for you and I'm so glad you're here. I've been reflecting. This is not the first time I've been laid off or unexpectedly unemployed. It's actually the fourth time that this has happened.
Damn! I'm sorry.
And it sucks every single time, no matter the reason. But here's the thing that nobody tells you about quitting, getting fired, getting laid off, or even just changing your mind. It's not just about the job or whatever you were doing for work. It's about your identity. It's about your routine and purpose and safety. And suddenly you're staring into the void like, who the fuck am I now? Who am I without my job? What am I doing without a schedule, without those meetings I complained about? We're a lot more than the work we do and a lot more than the jobs we have. And I've been unlearning tying my work to my identity for a long time now. This is definitely the most healthy I've felt about it. And I don't feel so torn up about, like, the situation obviously sucks, but I don't feel so torn up about it in a way that feels like my identity is threatened or the ground beneath me isn't stable. So let me tell you a few lessons that I've learned about being in this weird kind of in-between moment. And maybe it will help you too if you're feeling similarly or in a situation where you've been laid off or fired or you're changing your mind. The first lesson is that you are allowed to change. You're not failing, you're not flaky, you're not fickle, you're just evolving, and change is totally good. I think people have this idea that we should be the same person throughout our entire lives, or we should decide what we want to do for a career when we're in our teens, maybe even younger. Obviously, a lot of people decide in college, and that's fine for some, but you should be able to change your mind without that being viewed as a negative thing. And so just remember that maybe what you used to want got you here, and that's amazing. But if it doesn't fit anymore, then drop it. You are a person and a human being. Okay, number two. I hate this part, but there's obviously grief involved, even if you hated the job. A loss is a loss, even if it's good for you, and you have to give yourself permission to actually be sad or angry, or just like admit to yourself at the very least that you're feeling lost and kind of flailing. You don't have to immediately be like, this is a blessing in disguise, and try to spin it positively. It sucks. Let it be a little shitty. Let it be a little messy, and trust that something else is coming. Again, not in like a blessing in disguise kind of way, but trust yourself to know that something else is coming. In that same vein, the third thing I would say is that no one else is coming to save you or pick up the pieces when this happens. I think it's easy to wait for someone else to come to you, whether it's like a boss or a mentor or your parent or your partner, or like even a sign from the universe. But that's not happening. You are the only person who's going to pick you up and put you back together and move forward. You get to decide what the next chapter looks like. It's terrifying, but it's also really exciting. So don't wait around for someone else to come pick you up or save you or tell you what to do next. Lesson number 4. This one's hard for me to remember too. and I think a lot of people struggle with this, but your value was never your output. You're still smart, kind, worthy, interesting, curious, even and especially if you're not producing something 24/7. Rest is productive, and I know that sounds radical or ridiculous and hard to accept, but it's true. Reflection can be powerful and really give you insights on where to go next. And burnout is totally real. So just remember, you don't have to produce shit in order to be a worthy human being. Number 5, all of this reinvention is brave. Pivoting doesn't mean that you're lost or starting from zero. It means you're listening to yourself and taking action so that what you're doing is more aligned with who you want to be or who you're becoming. You're listening to your gut, your desires, and that's courageous. That's something that you should at least celebrate with yourself. Number 6, losing a job isn't the loss of your worth as a human being. And honestly, I think what I've learned at this point is that losing a job is often the beginning of harnessing your agency. It feels like the rug has been ripped out from underneath you and the ground is completely gone. But what's really collapsing and what you're really losing is the illusion that someone else or some corporation gets to define your value. That's not true. What you build next is completely up to you. And it gives you this sense of agency and like a freeing sense of being your own boss that really puts you in the driver's seat and reminds you that you're so much more powerful when you take control of where you're going next. Okay, number 7. This one has been real for me in the past too. Sometimes what looks like a setback is actually your nervous system being like, you need to slow down. It doesn't necessarily mean that like you worked too much or you're just like really exhausted and tired. It means that you've been ignoring yourself and your body and these symptoms for way too long, and your body's literally like, we need to rest. It's a pause that might be the first time you're actually listening to your body and giving your body a voice in your decision making. But again, as we said earlier, rest is productive, and it is so important to take this time to do whatever is restorative so that you can come back and be better than ever. Number 8, the goal in all of this isn't to find like the most amazing thing next that is the most impressive. It's to build a life that can hold many things that fulfill you and make you happy. You're not a one-dimensional person. I have to remind myself this. I talk about this with my therapist a lot. So your path will be nonlinear. Your path won't be one-dimensional if you're not a one-dimensional person. So let it be nonlinear. Let it be circuitous. Let it surprise you. Obviously, change can be scary, but that's where the actual freedom lives, not in having a perfect plan that goes off without a hitch, but in having the capacity to change and roll with the punches when that path becomes nonlinear. Number 9, discomfort is data. If you feel this pit in your stomach or nauseous or panicky, that's not because you're weak. I used to tell myself that. It is not because you are weak. It is literally your intuition pointing out a boundary or a value or a dream that you have that you need to listen to. You have to learn the language of your body and know that like it's literally never going to lie to you. It will never lie to you. And finally, number 10, not knowing what's next is sacred. We as a society treat uncertainty in all aspects like it's a huge problem to fix and one that needs to be fixed immediately. That's not the case. Not knowing is where you can find and release your own creativity, your resilience, your desires that you've been ignoring. It's this kind of moment of reinvention, not a detour from it or a detour from who you are, but more of a path toward what you really want to do. And it's okay not to know. It's okay not to be able to name it right away. And it's okay not to have an answer when people are like, what do you do for work? It's okay not to have some fancy job title. That's totally fine. So remember, if you're in this kind of weird in-between space, know this: you are not broken, you're not a failure, you're not lazy, you're not weak. You're just in motion, you're evolving, you're a human being, and that's great. And just because you don't know what's next or what you're going to do for a career doesn't mean that you're failing at life in any way. And it's not something that should at all bring you shame. It means that you're paying attention to what you want to do and you're being intentional about what that is. I obviously don't have it all figured out either. I'm fully going through this. It's Monday. I was laid off on Friday, so I'm fully going through this in real time as I'm talking to you. But I'm here, and if you are too, then welcome to the club. We're building something new together, and we're going to help each other get through this weirdness and uncertainty and come out on the other side better than ever. So thank you for being here. Subscribe for more cozy chaos, big feelings, and bold reinventions. Comment below if this hits home. I'd love to hear where you're at, what you're dealing with, where I can help, and I hope to see you next time. See you guys. Be good to yourself and others. Be good to yourself and others. Be good to yourself and others. Okay.